I left the show. You know, like the show at its height, we weren't treated properly on the show. They made $1 billion in the very first year of the show, and then they lowered the budget.
Why did you think they did that? Why did you think they lowered the budget? No, you really have to think, like, does this guy have any sense? Lower the budget because they knew they were making money from toy sales.
You know, it's kind of weird.
Were you the first person to leave or the only person to leave?
3 of us stood up. They said, hey, we're going to do this movie. It's going to be 20th Century Fox. We've already signed contract.
I remember hearing about the Power Rangers, and I used to think these guys were rich. So my mindset was like in the movies. But then I started to realize that these guys, they're not movie stars. They're on a kids' TV show, and they're replaceable actors. So my mindset was like this. I thought they were getting residuals each time a Power Rangers episode was getting played. I thought they were getting some money. So I thought to myself, when I saw years later, I heard that about them still having some sort of money problems or issues. I was like, wait a minute, don't they get like money from the episode? But it turns out they were getting paid per episode, but they weren't getting paid. There weren't really any real union contracts for them, so they weren't getting any residuals from repeats.
We're going to give you a contract, and then the contract was garbage. And then the contract was not only for 1 movie, it was for 3 movies. So it's like they're going to continue to screw us for 3 movies.
I remember, man. I remember thinking to myself, like, where's the Black Ranger? But at this time, he already left, and he done his exit. I can't remember how his exit was. But I remember, like, man, that's weird. No Black Ranger. I mean, 1995, man, Power Rangers was at its height. At its height, it was like the #1 kids show on any network. In the UK, it's the #1. #1. Way ahead of its time, special effects wise. If you can call the men in suits special effects. At the time, you think they were actual big monsters, but it was men in suits. But way ahead of its time. And I remember the queue for the Power Rangers movie was round the block, so I had to wait at least 3 hours to watch the Power Rangers movie, because that's how long the queue was.
And it was like, finally, we got to get a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Let's get a lawyer. Let's get somebody to represent us all.
Yeah.
And let's take a stand. But at the end of the day, only 3 of us did it. And so we took the stand. We didn't do the movie. We left the show. And that was a very difficult thing to do at that time when the show was at its height, because it was my movie. I earned it, you know?
Yeah, he kind of built I can't say they built the brand. Like, the brand was built around them. What this guy doesn't seem to realize is that him as a Power Ranger is not what's selling. It's the toys. The whole thing is made to sell toys, right? That's what it's about. And I remember the toys were selling out like crazy. They were like hotcakes. And I also remember that there was never a toy I never saw a toy from the Power Ranger line when the one that I got a couple of them. You couldn't take the mask off. So the Black Ranger was just a Black Power Ranger. You never saw his face. His face didn't matter. All that mattered was the Power Ranger. That's all the kids wanted was the Power Ranger. They didn't care about the human being underneath. And I realized that's how my mind was working as well. It's like, I just wanted the Black Ranger or the Red Ranger. Those are those are the 2 cool ones at the time. Then Tommy came in as the Green Ranger. Yeah, he was cool as well. But at the end of the day, it's them in the costume that you wanted. So anybody could have been underneath, and he just failed to realize that.
But the stand that it took to go, hey, come on, man, y'all gotta give us some respect. Mm-hmm. Treat us as professionals.
Of course.
We started as people that nobody knew. But now, at this point, I'd done 85 episodes. It was time. It was time to take a stand. I left the
People still don't really know. You could, like, let's put this in perspective. Like, has he really become a really famous actor? Everyone just knows him for Power Rangers. He's probably acted in some shows, but nothing really that really stood out and was like, yeah, he was in that movie. Nothing. And it seemed like it was more about wanting more money per episode rather than respect. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be that they should have gave him more respect, but it seemed to me this was all about a money dispute, and the money that they wanted they never got, so they just walked out. And guess what happened? They got replaced. That is the world we live in. Because even to this day, when it comes to Power Rangers, the brand is bigger than the people itself. So the actors, they're nobodies. The brand Power Rangers is more of a solid investment. So they don't really care about actors. They're still in the same union. They're still paying them the same way they were paying in the 90s per episode. They don't get paid for reruns. Because at the end of the day, they know they can just swap and replace them. Simple as that.